We've got a few AEW questions this week, Jim, naturally.
Oh, I thought we were going to escape that. Boy, that sub-segment of the population is scaring me now, reminding me of the fucking Patriots and the gun nuts. They're out there, they're hidden out there. And their minds explode when you state the obvious.
Well, some people aren't really taking a side, but they have questions about it. I think this is a case of that. This one was sent in the cornydrivethru@gmail.com from Charlie in Starkville, Mississippi. Recently, Terry Funk said he believes that AEW, quote, is going to be something special, and also that Dusty would be ecstatic watching this. What are your thoughts on Terry's view of AEW, and is your view of the company as optimistic as Terry's?
I think he watched Cody versus Dustin. And I would agree with both of those statements if that's the only thing I had watched. I don't think Terry tuned in for the pre-show battle royal. That's my comment.
Our next question, Jim, was sent in the...
No, think about that. If you took as we used to say, the tape. I started to say the tape. If you took a video of the Cody versus Dustin segment and set it down to somebody and said, this is a brand new wrestling promotion and it's going to be on TV soon, and this is their first pay-per-view, this is a match from it, and what do you think? There is not a wrestling fan in the world that I can think of that wouldn't say, I want to see some more of this. This is one of the greatest things I've seen in a long time, because I said the same thing myself. If you did the same thing, but it was the battle royal that you showed them, I would say better than 50% of the wrestling fan overall, 80 to 85% of the former wrestling fans, if not more, and maybe 10 or 15% of modern fans, because they've got a stronger stomach, would say, I don't want to see more of that shit. On the same show, from same promotion. So it's all relative. And in this case, Cody and Dustin were related.
We have a question about when AEW should air on TV. This one was sent in to cornydrivethru@gmail.com from Christopher Hayward from the Howard University School of Law. Well, he will be. He'll be graduating in 2021. Per Dave Meltzer, the median WWE viewer age is in the 50s. A whole generation has grown up without Saturday morning or weekend wrestling. While the industry currently benefits from monetizing its niche adult fan base, its greatest opportunity for growth is with kids, since that is when most wrestling fans start watching. In light of the oversaturation of the WWE on weekdays, as well as the opportunity to appeal to younger fans who are asleep during the first runs of Raw and SmackDown, do you think it would be worth it for AEW to run their show on Saturdays, perhaps at 6:05, in order to appeal to the younger audience that their product is seemingly more geared to? If they are stuck on weekdays, do you think they should run on Monday nights, since fans may not want wrestling 3 nights a week and may be conditioned to watch it on Mondays out of force of habit? Thank you for taking my question.
Good Lord, thank you for finishing your fucking question.
Jeez.
What? No. That's a lot of detail. Here's the thing. It's completely changed. Syndicated television was the model for wrestling for so many years because that was the primary method most people got their television. Syndicated television, broadcast over the air, has been important for Ring of Honor because they own the stations. Sinclair Broadcasting owns the stations. So they're getting programming that they would have to pay more or in another way for. But also you establish, see, this is what I've always tried to explain to people. Even if you're on national cable, let's say you have what's a Spike TV, for example, then that means that you're airing to a large number of people all over the country. But to promote a specific event in a specific market, Spike TV is not all that important. It makes national stars, and yes, and it drives the YouTube and the streaming video and the merchandise and whole, et cetera, et cetera. But it's not great if you just want to run a house show in Charlotte. And what does come in handy, and why I think Ring of Honor has had some success in some of the markets that they've started and established, because they have actual local broadcast television there. And I don't know if they do use, but they could certainly use, and hopefully they do use crossovers with the local news station and et cetera, come out and cover the events. That helps you. It doesn't help your profile nationally, but it helps you draw a bigger crowd for a live event or a television taping in that particular market. And I think you need a balance of both. If you're not as big as the WWF, then you certainly need help drawing to your live events where you tape your television so it looks like you have big crowds at your shows. It feeds on each other. But here's the problem. Do kids watch TV on Saturday anymore, on Saturday morning? Do they watch TV at all anymore? I remember when I was a kid, when I was 9 years old, when the fall preview TV guide issue came out, I sat there and was mesmerized and fucking was beside myself to read what all we were going to be, especially the Saturday morning schedule. You know, where's the Herculoids going to be, for fuck's sake? What about Johnny Quest? You know, but now do kids even watch? They just look at their fucking phone whenever they want to, because you don't have to watch anything at a specific time anymore. When I was a kid, if you did not see a television program, but network TV, yes, they'd rerun it in the summer. And when I was a kid, I hadn't figured out syndication yet because it was all first run to me because I was a fucking kid. I hadn't seen it. But a wrestling program or a sports program or a regularly scheduled program that didn't do reruns like network, if you didn't see it when it aired, you never saw it ever. So it's different. Anyway, I think that a strong network and a prime time slot for a national show is still the best way to go. And I'm open to the night based on, you know what, there are kind of a couple of dog nights for television during the week, but if it's good, it'll make it regardless, because the other shows on that dog night are on the same dog night. So if your fucking dog only draws 1 million viewers and the other networks are drawing 3 million viewers on the same night, that means your TV show sucks. So it's going to be, they shouldn't go opposite the WWF for obvious reasons. Otherwise, I don't think it matters if it's a good show.
How did Herculoids never become a nickname for Hercules Hernandez, who was on so many steroids?
Oh, God damn it. Well, for one thing, I'd have never said it to his face. Now, he'd have probably laughed, actually. He would have laughed. Oh, it's funny, Jimmy. Hey.
To this topic, though, I got hooked on wrestling when it aired in New York on Channel 5 at 10 a.m. on Saturday mornings, noon on Sundays. I would try to watch primetime wrestling. I'd usually fall asleep by the time of the second hour, not because of the matches, but just because of the time it was on. So in terms of getting a younger fan base, there is something there. Obviously, viewing habits have really changed. My kids don't know any television show based on what time it originally airs. Everything's on demand. Yeah. But it's an interesting point.
Well, yeah, and also when I first discovered wrestling, it was on at 2 o'clock in the morning. Dick the Bruiser show. But then I found out there was wrestling here in Louisville, and it was on Saturday afternoons originally. And then Phil Golden's Outlaw show came in Saturday nights at 11 o'clock on the independent station. So, and then sometimes they'd switch to Sunday, especially when they were on the local ABC affiliate here and during the season for games and things. So it was a weekend thing, but it didn't matter whether it was morning, afternoon, or night. The wrestling fans always found a way to watch it. It just, as long as that the only thing that killed you was when the local station bumped you around, where you weren't on at the same time and day every week consistently. If you got bumped around a lot, it was worse than having no TV at all, because it lulled you into a false sense of security. The TV's airing, but Miss Jarrett used to say all the time, wrestling fans are creatures of habit. If you changed the building or the day of the show or the day of the TV or the time of the TV, it would hurt.
Where did it hurt you the most in Smoky Mountain, having the TV bounced around?
Well, we never we never got bounced around on our main televisions because at the time, Fox 43 in Knoxville, we started at 10 o'clock on Sunday morning and went to 11 o'clock shortly after and stayed there for the rest of the fucking time. They had nothing else to do with that hour, which is we couldn't get a better one because they were pricks and wanted more money. And by that time, Fox Network was a thing, but we were never bounced around. In the Tri-Cities, we were on the NBC affiliate, and we had Sunday morning at 11:30, and we pretty much, once again, it was paid programming, partial paid programming. But the network, thank God, they didn't have anything going on that WCYB in Bristol gave a shit about, and we got that hour, and most of the time we were there. WYMT in Eastern Kentucky, we were Saturday nights at 11:30, except for, I don't know how many weeks it was, but we got stooged by one of the sponsors, one of our spot shows in Eastern Kentucky. We were coming on at midnight and not knowing about it. The station never told us they changed our time because they took a 30-minute paid bowling show from Corbin and put it on at 11:30 and then moved us to midnight and thought we wouldn't know. And we didn't for a while, but we complained. But I think the bowling show went broke because I can only imagine what a 30-minute paid bowling show from Corbin, Kentucky looked like. I never saw it, but it was our lead-in. So, I mean, these fucking TV stations, they were motherfuckers in a lot of cases. But we didn't, our main stations, we didn't get bumped around a lot. But also, we weren't in high demand time slots in those markets.